In this video, I'm going over the flowcharts as they apply to writing a Python program. Okay, now that we understood a little bit about how to think about an algorithm, and we understood a little bit about how to write a pseudocode, which is the foundation for writing any program, not just in Python, but any other language. Let's look at the way flowcharts work. Flowcharts, by definition, are the diagrams that graphically depict the steps in an algorithm or in a program. There is some sort of formality to how we draw flowcharts, and this is a little bit distinct from pseudocode, which we can use different formats or actually no format. In flowcharts, we use ovals for terminal symbols to start and finish a program. We use parallelograms as input and output. We use rectangles for processing symbols, and we also have arrows that basically show the flow of the program. We have terminal symbols, we have input, we have processing, and we have decisions, right? Okay, so imagine we had this example. I just brought this information again for your review. We had an example of calculating salary. So first we used, as I mentioned, we use ovals as terminals. So we have start and end of the program. We have also parallelograms that show the input and output symbols. For instance, we need to input the hours, input the hourly rate. We also have processes as rectangles, so calculate the total pay. And finally, we have again we have the same parallelograms to show the output of the program. Another example, we get a number, so we let's say input a number, or we can say print enter a number, and then we want to check if that number is greater or less than 0. So if it's more than 0, we can print this, again, some sort of data. And if not, we can say that it's not greater than 0. We finish the program. The difference between these two is that it basically checks for a condition. So anytime we have to check for a condition, we can use some sort of a diamond figure. Now, we don't really do any of these manually anymore, so there are lots of different software that you can use from university. Visio is something that comes in Microsoft 365 package, so we can use that, or we can use an online platform like Lucidchart or other similar platforms to draw diagrams. So let's go through some examples. Let's say, imagine we want to check to see if we have odd or even numbers. Let's see how we can do it using example of one of these softwares. Okay, so you can simply log into Visio from your university account and create a new file from here. Once you log into Visio, from here, a list of applications, you should be able to see Visio. You create a new file. You can also create a new file using the flowchart. And then here is an example of how we can do draw a diagram for checking odd numbers. So what we can do is I have put together a list of shapes that are coming from here. So we have basic flowchart types, so you can simply drag and drop whatever you want. So I have terminals for start and ending a program, so you can simply do that. Second, we have some processes, which is checking the numbers. We also have we can also use a decision for that otherwise. Okay, so in this simple example, I have a start and ending using the oval shapes. I have some data, so I said please provide a number, and then I have a condition which I'm making a decision, but you can also use basically a process. A process would be check if that number, when it's divided by 2, the remainder is equal to 0. And I can replace this condition here. So the rest would be the same. So if it's yes, if it's equal to 0, you can print an even number. If not, you can do an n number, and both of them will go to the n. Or you can say if the output of this process is yes, instead of yes, you can just say if it's true, just to be more aligned with Python. And if it's false, you can just do that. How do we connect it? Simply, you can just go from these corners to the next location. So I have already connected these, but you can just simply drag one corner and drop it to the other one. So you show the flow of the program using these arrows. So very straightforward. Now, on your end, I would like you to try to think about an algorithm for finding prime numbers. So you're receiving a number from the end user and you wanna determine if that number is prime or not.